Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, students. In today's interactive session, we will discuss data warehousing as a second lecture that is regarding to dimensionality modeling. And this topic is very important concerning when we have to design a data warehouse. So we have to do its modeling. So this data modeling is very important. Within the last lecture, if you recall that we studied about what does mean data warehouse and what does mean data warehousing. Further, we discussed that the systems, those are OLTP systems and OLAP systems. And I shared with you that OLTP systems are the systems in which you have to do transactions in routine, the daily routine transactions. And within that, we have to also store the data, and that data is basically stored that is in routine and daily transactions. And furthermore, you can say tomorrow the 2 days data looks to be archived. So within the database, within the data warehouses, we store the data of the archived data basically for a span of period. And then we say these OLAP system, basically data warehousing systems are OLAP systems in which we have to analyze the data, we have to make some sort of report and queries. Those queries are a bit difficult as compared to OLTP queries. Further, I told you that you can use the data mining techniques to retrieve the data and further to analyze the data from the data warehouse, and in which we have to seek for the association between the items. We have to seek a prediction regarding the patterns we will observe within the previous data, the archive data, then we predict for the future. So there are different tools are available with the data mining for clustering, for classification, so and so. So further, I discuss with you the concept of data mart. That is a subset of the data warehouse. I say though the data marts may be independent and dependent, if you recall that. I also discussed with you a table in which we have to say how the OLTP system are different from data warehousing systems. And those we discussed within our last lecture. Further, I told you why these data warehouses are needed for the organizations, although it needs big resources to be spent in order to develop a data warehouse. So some of the organization, they prefer that they would start with the help of the data mart in the very beginning. They construct data marts, and then again with the passage of time they grow, and they may lead to data warehousing, because the data warehouse needs much money, much resources, and so they start with the data mart. I also discussed the benefits and the drawbacks of the such approach, that a data warehousing, data mart, etc. And hoping that you have gone through that. Do you have any question about that? What we have learned in the lecture?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, today we will discuss the concepts of dimensional modeling. Those are basically used in designing a data warehouse. So, is the screen is visible to you or no? I say it's not visible to you. Hello, is it visible? Hello, screen is visible now. Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
Screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Screen is visible, sir.
So in this lecture, we will discuss what does mean dimensionality modeling, and why these dimensional data models are needed, and why we consider that in the data warehouse design. So further, I have to discuss with you the different types of schemas that we may use when we design a data warehouse. You are familiar with the schemas, with the tables that you have already learned with OLTP systems. But for this OLAP systems, we have to say what sort of schemas we have to consider, and those are available in order to design our data warehouse. So regarding data warehouse, I already discussed with you that the major practices of data warehouse, that is subject oriented, integrated, time variant, and non-volatile. So I shared with you that these data warehousing concepts, they are not application oriented, they are subject oriented. They have concern regarding the subject. We have to collect the data, archive data. Let's suppose about the product may be a subject. You could say supplier may be a subject. You say student may be a subject. So you have to take any subject regarding that, we have to collect archive data. Furthermore, I told you that the data that we have to extract that are from different resources. Those may be internal resources of the organization, it may be external resources from where we have to collect the data for our data warehousing. So this data then we collect from different heterogeneous resources that may have different formats, and there might be different name of the columns of the table that we are considering, so and so. So I told you that prior to loading this data to the data warehouse, we have to clean it properly. That is cleansing process, transforming process. I discussed it with you, because we need that data that we have to load to the data warehouse, that should be of good quality, and it should be free of errors, and we would not to load the dirty data. Further, I told you that for it is a time variant for the time span, what the data we have to collect for, and further at the last I told you the data with the data warehouses, those are non-volatile. We are not rapidly changing that data. We are not editing that data because that data is very old, and now we have collected that. Although there are some techniques are available in order to rectify the errors, if any, but we did not go for too much change in the data, that is the archive data. So I told you one example that if within the record there are null values, so we may discard that record, because at this moment, at the current time, we're unable to guess what should be the value of that, the null that we declared at that moment. So these are the some of the aspects that I already discussed with you. Further, I told you that with data warehousing, the process that help us to build a data warehouse and to retrieve the data from the data warehouse. This architecture, I discuss with you that on the left side we have different resources from where we have to extract the data to be loaded to the data warehouse. But you have to remember that I told you that this data that we are collecting, that is from operational systems. Those are working and running for to address the transaction or daily transaction, basically to manipulate those. So the data that we have to collect here, that is stored with the operation systems. Or further, we have say in the staging area, we say we have to extract the data, then we have to transform the data. When we say this data is properly cleansed, then we have to load it to the data warehouse. Further, I also discussed with you how the data warehouse be refreshed, whether it is loaded partially, whether it is loaded fully. I discussed these concepts with you. And the concept of metadata. The metadata means that the data of the data. So further, I shared with you that there might be data marts, and the data marts may be dependent on the data warehouse. Data marts may be independent, because these may be the subset of the data warehouse if they are dependent. Might be this data mart is for the sale, this data mart for the inventory control, let's suppose, this data mart for the financial aspects. So they might be confined to a department. So when this data is loaded to the data warehouse, then we have to use this OLTP server in order to retrieve the data, and then that should be analyzed. Proper query should be made, and the decision support system may get the data from the data warehouse for further decision making. Data mining techniques may be used to retrieve data and then manipulate, keeping in view the tools available. So this was the whole structure of the data warehouse. And now we are more concerned when it should be designed, what should be our considerations. So for the OLTP systems, the different operations that we go through, that the one is roll up. Roll up means that we have to summarize the data, because if we have the data and they have different dimensions and they have sub dimensions, then we have to go roll up in terms of that the dimension should be reduced. So when we're rolling up something, so your dimension should be reduced of the data. For example, that you have two dimensions. Let's suppose the time dimension you are taking and the location dimension for the sales. You say that should be overall, we have to say what should be the overall sale. What I am doing, that I am reducing the dimension if I go upward. So drill down means that you need the details of the data, not only in hierarchical summary of the data, but we have detailed data on depth, granularity. So for that we say we need more details of the data. For example, if you are saying we are collecting the data about, let's suppose, about the yield of wheat, let's suppose we have collected the data on tehsil level, then district level, let's suppose, then on country levels. And when we are going upward, we are reducing the dimensions. When we're going downward, whether you say the yield should be within the cities or not only within the tehsils, then you are drilling down, you are getting more detailed data. Further, the data that is stored with the data warehousing, that is dimensional. We say three-dimensional data. The cube, in terms of cube, we have stored that, and when we select the data from that data that is multidimensional, we may get with the help of the projection or selection operations. So in that manner, we can see different facets of the data. So that is basically you have to slice and dice so and so. If you have to further to see that if data should be visualized, keeping in view how the data is stored in different dimensions, and visualize that, and we have to rotate that in the manner that we have to see every aspect and every facet of the data. Then we say this pivot are rotating. Furthermore, we say that drill across and drill through, drill across involving more than one fact table. I will consider what does mean fact table in the coming slide. Basically, this is very much related to the design we are looking for when we discuss the schemas of data warehouse. And drill down means that at the bottom level of the cube. Cube means cube is basically three-dimensional. If data is stored in 3 dimensions, then we have to say, because some of our schemas, they have more than one fact table with them. So we have to see a drill across mean involving data more than one fact tables, and drill through mean the bottom level of the cube. So these are the basic operations in OLTP that will help you to view the data, to visualize the data, and to retrieve the data from different angles. So this is one of the, say, I can show you it's, let's suppose that the center here, it looks like a cube. Are you getting what I'm talking about, Pete? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you see that within these slides, listen. If you think in terms of the center, there's a figure. It looks like a cube, yeah. So if you say the data is stored here in a three-dimensional way, yeah. So I may enlarge it in the very beginning to go for this one. Now it should be more visible to you. Let's suppose the data is stored in three-dimensional way. The dimensions here are, let's suppose,
सर स्लाइड नजर ही नहीं आ रही.
नहीं नजर आ रही. Okay.
नहीं सर.
Now it is visible. How? Hello.
Yes, sir. Visible.
Now, if you think about the data is stored in three-dimensional way. One dimension is, let's suppose, the cities. The other dimension is time. This is Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. These are the cities. And the other dimension is net product. We have say one product is sale, and that is sold according to the times. That time quarterly, that's 6 months. After 9 months, we likely to have some data about the sold items, and within the locations in which city or in which country they have been sold. So in that manner, we have say the product, we have to say the countries, and the third is the times. So you have three dimensions. In three dimensions, you have stored the data. So you can say that I have to roll up. Yeah, you say what should be the whole sales within some time, or wholesale within 2 or 4 countries, so and so. In that manner, what you are doing, you are reducing the dimensions. Yeah. So in that manner, we are saying this is the roll up. On the right side, if you say this is the roll down, this cube is a more prepared as a more big. What does it mean? That we are saying more and more detailed data should appear here. So that is the drill down. Similarly, we have slice and dice. This only give you one part of the data. Yeah, that might be with the projection or selection. Or similarly, we have the pivot in which if we have to rotate this cube, then we may see its different faces. Yeah. So in that manner, these are the basically operations. Those are used with OLAP, and these operations are allowed with the data that is stored within the databases. No, we have to go for, because you are more familiar with the tables and how to retrieve the data from the tables and so and so. Now you say that the data is stored in multi-dimensional way. So we say from table to data cubes. Data warehouse is based on the multi-dimensional data model, which view the data in the form of data cube. Basically, the cube is three-dimensional. He gives the example of that. If we consider the sales of a product, and we say we have dimensions, what dimension? The item that is sold, at what time it is sold. You can add another dimension, that the location where it has been sold. So these are called basically dimension tables, and they, if you see here, the dimension table, this basically describe the item name and brand and type. So these are the descriptive. The dimension tables are descriptive. Time, date, so and so, describe the things. So it is more explanatory here, and you can say these are the column names that within this dimension. So other table that we have to consider in the schema, that is the fact table. So fact table basically contains measures and the keys that will help you to join this fact table with the dimension tables. So these are the two concepts with the multi-dimensional data models. So within the data model, you have to go for a fact tables. You have also to go for a dimensional tables. In the next slide, it might be more clear to you what I am talking about. So this is the concept of the cube. Here, this is a cube and you say the data is stored in 3 dimensions. One dimension is product, other dimension is date, and the third dimension is country. So the data is stored in 3 dimensions. We say that the product TV has been sold. For which quarter it has been sold, for the first 3 months or for the next 3 months, and for which country it is sold. So in that manner, you have 3 dimensions. For example, I also give you another example.
सर
Give it.
सर वो मैंने पूछना था कि हम ये जो असाइनमेंट जो हमारी पीछे मिस हो गई हैं वो अब जमा करवा सकते हैं क्योंकि हमारे अकाउंट ब्लॉक थे।
अच्छा बेटे, पहले ये हाँ करा लें आप, लेकिन ये है कि आप वो उसको जरूर करें ताकि आपकी प्रैक्टिस हो। लेकिन ये लेसन तो सुन लेना आप, उसके बाद हम डिस्कशन करते हैं आपकी जो चीजें रह गई।
मैं सुन रहा हूँ मैं लेक्चर।
तो बेटे ये जो dimensions हैं, you can take another example. I told you the example of the wheat yield. I say the yield of the wheat at you say city level, at the sea level, and at district level. So if I say in this manner that we are adding 3 dimensions because the yield is available on the city levels. For one city, what much the yield of the wheat. Then we go for the let's suppose the sea level, and within one tehsil there might be 3 to 4 cities. So what we are doing at that moment, we are doing the reducing the dimension. Basically, we are rolling up, and further we go for the district. Within the district there might be 3-4 tehsils. Yeah. So in that manner, you have added 3 dimensions for that. If you add another dimension, yeah, that's the country. At country level, what should be the yield of the wheat? Then now you have 4 dimensions. So here there are 3 dimensions: the product, date, and country, for which we have the data available within the data warehouse. And this is called data cube. So now I will let you know what does mean dimensionality modeling, and that is necessary in order to design a data warehouse. So this is also a technique, that is a logical design technique. Its purpose is that we have to present the data in proper modeling standard. And why we have to use that? Because we see that the performance of access when we retrieve the data from the data warehouse, that should be good. In order to improve that performance, we say we have to do dimensionality modeling of the data that likely to be loaded into the data warehouse. So for this one, the data model that we call dimensional model is normally used to design the database components of the data warehouse. So dimensional model is a data structure technique, how we have to store the data with the data warehouse, and that should be stored in an optimized way that we can retrieve it properly and with better performance. So its purpose is to optimize the data for faster retrieval. The concept of data modeling, that is dimensional modeling, that was introduced by the Ralph Kimball. And that at that moment he coined 2 terms. One is called fact and other is called dimension. Fact table and dimension table. There are two component of this dimensional model. So I will discuss with you what does mean the fact model and the dimension model. So every dimensional model have 2 tables. One is called the fact table and other is called the dimension table. So within the fact table, what we have to place there, or what does it contain? It contains the keys. Those are for the dimension tables, and furthermore it contains some sort of the measures or the matrices. Those are called the facts. So these 2 things are with the fact table. But with the dimension table, we have detail of the items, that is your dimension. Let's suppose I have a dimension of the item, I have dimension of the city, then details of the city, that different columns, those will reflect how the basic components of that dimension. Those are basically with the help of dimension tables. So it is important aspect that you have to remember the keys you are using when you are using your OLTP systems. Whenever you use your database systems, you prepare key for the tables, that is the primary key or the foreign key and so and so. Basically, those keys, the real keys, are not used within the data warehousing. We have to coin and other surrogate keys. Basically, those are used. Those may be introduced by the system, and those may be some numeric values. Let's suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that one. So why they are using these surrogate keys? They are saying that the surrogate keys allow data in the warehouse to have some independence from the data use produced by the OLTP. So within the OLTP, but the real natural keys we are not using with the data warehouse, but they are alternatives. So in summary, you can say that dimension model, yeah, it represents the data into data cube in the form of a data cube. Further, we can view the data from different facets because this data is multidimensional, and it is more denormalized. We say when we consider the schemas, within different schemas, we have dimension models normalized or not normalized. Further, we say if we have the table that is not denormalized, in which the query's performance may be more good as compared to the table those are normalized. Because when the tables are normalized, we have to split the table into different tables, and you likely to have some sort of query to retrieve the data from different tables. It might take time as compared to if you're retrieving from the same table, because in that manner you have to join the tables first, and then you have to retrieve those. So within these data warehousing, the different schemas that I will discuss with you, they have normal dimensional tables and they have unnormal dimensional tables, or normalized. Regarding components of the data model, that dimensional model, we say there is one component is called fact, and these are the matrices, and usually these are the values, the integral values, integer values, let's suppose, and they have also other properties that may be additive, that may be non-additive or semi-additive. I will discuss in next slide, inshallah. Dimension, basically it gives who, what, and where of the facts. Because the dimension tables give some sort of descriptive data about that dimension. Attributes are there because it is the characteristics of the dimension. Then the fact table. I told you that the fact table only contains the key and the basically facts. The fact table is primary table in the dimension modeling. It has the central table, you can say. It contains measurements, that those are called fact, and the foreign key to the dimension tables. So the dimensional table, it contains dimension of the facts. So within the next slide, you would be more. So the type of facts are basically additive. The facts that can be summed up, that can be aggregated, and the facts that can be aggregated, but those can be aggregated, you may say semi, not the fully, so it's called the semi-additive. And some of the facts are thus non-additive. I will give you an example of each, then it should be clear to you. Now consider this example. Within this example, we say the sale amount is basically fact, because it can be aggregated, and it can be aggregated that regarding the product and regarding the date. How much sale for some product, how much sale for some duration, that for the date, but in terms of that may be for week, or for month, or quarter, and so and so. So the sale amount, you can say this is additive fact, because you can sum up this fact along any dimension. That is basically date or product here. So the sum of the amount sale can be weekly, quarterly. It depends upon. So in that manner, you can say regarding these dimensions, this sale amount can be sum up. So we say this is additive fact, because the facts are basically here. That is the measurements that we are using. So for the semi additive fact and non additive facts, you can say, if consider this table, and here you say date and the bank account and the current balance and profit margin, these are the facts with that. And where date and this bank account, they have some sort of dimensional model they have. For those, we say the current balance and the profit, if these are the facts, whether we can sum up the current balance, whether we can sum up the profit margin. If you have a bank account in any bank, then you can say it looks to be reasonable that we can say sum up all the current balances of all the accounts today. That is clear. But you can't say that the current balance of these accounts should be within time, that you have to say you have to count in terms of a sum up in terms of those. If you are unable to do that, then you can say the current balance is basically semi-additive. Some parts you can add and some of the parts you can't add that. But regarding profit margin for each account holder, you can't sum up it as a whole, because it is very much related to that, and that is non-additive. We can't say that this profit margin is additive. It is non-additive. Current balance looks to be semi-additive, and in the last slide I discussed the sale amount, that is basically additive fact. So this portion is very important. You have to concentrate on when I will discuss with you. So multi-dimensional schema is designed to model data warehouse systems. So for that multi-dimensional schemas, we have three schemas that we have to discuss. One is star schema, other is snowflake schema, and the third is galaxy schema. So these schemas addresses the unique needs of very large database designed for the analytical purposes. So I have to discuss each schema. You are familiar with the schema when you are working on the tables, when you are learning your relational model. हेलो बेटे, इसकी समझ भी आ रही है? हेलो हसन, हेलो, आपकी तरफ से कोई मैसेज नहीं आ रहा. हेलो हैदर,
यस सर.
तो बेटे समझ भी आ रही है इसकी, या बस ऊपर से गुजर रहा है?
यस सर, समझ आ रही है सर.
गुड है बेटे.
यस सर, अभी आप एक दफा पढ़ाएंगे, फिर हम एक दफा खुद भी स्लाइड्स रीड करेंगे, फिर और अच्छा.
Now we are discussing the star schema.
Yes sir, आ रहे सारा समझ सर.
Within the star schema, you have to consider there is a fact table. Within the fact table, what we have include, that is basically the keys. Those are for the dimension tables. Each key of each dimension table, that is the part of the fact table. And further we say which of the things that we can measure, we can sum up. Those are considered there. So within the star schema, this fact table is in the middle, and the connected is a set of dimension tables. So prior to discussing in detail, I will show you its slide that depict its form. Let's suppose this is a star schema, and here within the middle this is a fact table, and here these are basically dimension tables on the right and left. If you see, if item is a dimension, and within this table item key is a key, so that is this item key with the fact table. Here it should be a foreign key. And similarly, when you say this is the time dimension, within the time dimension for this dimensional table, time is key is a key. So that is also available with the fact table as a foreign key. So these are the keys for each dimensional table. Those are here. Further, we have to say what should be the facts. Facts mean, because it is related to the sales, we say units sold. How many units sold within this time period? You can calculate here. How many units sold regarding that item? We can aggregate that. We can say how many units sold within some location. You can find the aggregate. We can sum up that. So these are the basically facts. Similarly, the dollar sold, how much money you got, and the aggregate sales, you can measure this one. So these are basically integer values that we have to calculate here. Yeah, but these tables, those are on the left side and the right side, these are descriptive tables because they describe the dimensional table. Its description is here. These are the columns given and other things. So in that manner, within the star schema, you can say that the dimensional tables, and within those dimensional tables, the position of the fact table is the central to the dimensional tables. Did you get this one? Hello? 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 इसकी बेटे समझ आई कुछ? हेलो हसन?
यस सर।
इसकी अब समझ आई? ये तस्वीर को देख के कुछ समझ आई ये फैक्ट टेबल क्या है और डायमेंशन?
यस सर।
ओके ओके बेटे। So within the star schema, the center of the star schema can have one fact table. There is only one fact table in the center and the other number of associated table that is within the star schema. There are schemas in which we have to consider more than fact table, but with the star schema, there is only a single fact table and other are dimensional tables. The structure resembles a star, so we called it a star schema. It is the simpler form of the schema for the data warehousing. So one thing that is constrained with it, that the star schema must contain a dimension of time. The time dimension would be there. So each dimensional table has a simple key, that is the primary key, and the primary key corresponds to exactly one of the component of the composite key and the fact table. So within the fact table, it appears as a foreign key. So the facts are generated by events that occurred past, so we can't change them. This is not unlikely to change, and regardless how they are analyzed. But at this moment, because this is data is archived data, and we are unable to make different changes to it. So the fact should be numeric values. I already told you. The star schema is also called star join. Just it's called star schema because its shapes looks like a star. So again, this slide is in front of you. You have said this the central part. This one it's a fact table, and with fact table we have these keys, and these keys are from the dimension tables, and they are basically primary keys. And the three values, those are given here. Those are units sold, and these are the basically measures. So these are called the facts. So the two things are important for this schema. There is a fact table and the dimension tables. These are important for also other schemas. So the second one is the snowflake schema. You can say it is a bit extension of the star schema, in which we have dimensional hierarchies normalized. Within this star schema, the table, those are dimensional tables, those are unnormalized. But if you normalize those tables, those are dimensional tables, then surely we have smaller dimension tables. So in that manner, that shape looks like to be a snowflake. So we call that this is snowflake schema. Let's see its shape. Let's see, this is the example of snowflake schema. Although in the center there is a your fact table, and at this left side and right side, basically these are your dimensional tables. It looks like a star, but the location table and this item, this table, those are the dimensional tables. They are further normalized. So within this item dimension, the supplier key, this is a supplier table that when we normalize that, so it looks, then another table is created. So that is the supplier and the supplier key. Here the primary key is the foreign key within this dimensional table. So in that manner, when we normalize the dimensional tables, we have to separate it into more than one tables in that manner. So this whole thing looks like a snowflake. So this is called snowflake schema. So again, the fact table is in the center, but the big difference is that the dimension tables, those are further normalized, whereas in star schema, these are not normalized. So I will let you share with you what are the practices of the snowflake schema. Snowflake schema is called the extension of the star schema. It may add additional dimensions. How it can add? Because the dimensional tables are further normalized. So within the snowflake schema, we have a normalized form and unnormalized form also. One thing that I likely to tell you that within the star schema, the fact table is basically normalized in third normal form. That is there. So dimensional tables are normalized and split into additional tables within the snowflake. Snowflake schema is hybrid structure to contain mixture of star, denormalized and snowflake normalized schema. So these are some of the tables are denormalized and some tables are basically normalized because we have to normalize the dimensional tables. So this lead to some sort of snowflake schema. So this is another design aspect. If you say our this data warehouse should be designed keeping in view the snowflake schema, and each schema has its own benefits and complexities. Its characteristics is easy to implement. A dimension is added to the schema. Furthermore, it is saying because we have the sub dimensions, if we likely to add the dimension, it is more easy. So due to multiple tables, query performance is reduced. We say when we normalize the table, then we have to retrieve the data from different tables. Those have been splitted. We have to join them. So again, the performance of the query is reduced. So in that manner, you can say that the query time may be more as compared to if the tables are denormalized. So snowflake schema affects only the dimension table and does not affect the fact table. So in that manner, you have seen that the dimension tables are normalized. So when they say it's not affecting your fact table, but it only affects your dimension tables. So the main difference between star schema and snowflake schema is that the dimension table of the snowflake schemas are maintained in a normalized form to reduce redundancy, where the dimensional table in the star schema, they are denormalized. This is the big difference between the two schemas. So this already I discussed you with this example, discussed with you, and because its shapes look like a snowflake, so it's called a snowflake schema. So we have to discuss on the last one, the galaxy schema or fact constellation. So it contains two fact tables, whereas the rest we already studied the snowflake schema, or we have studied the star schema. There are only one fact table, but it may contain two fact tables, shared dimension tables between them, and the dimension tables are also shared with these fact tables. It is also called fact constellation schema or galaxy schema. So basically, this is you say the collection of the stars. When we have a galaxy schema, you can take it into a different star schema. Those are basically combined together. So its characteristics are that dimension is schema are separated into separate dimension based on the various level of hierarchy. So this is also the dimension in the schema are separated into separate dimension based on the various levels of hierarchy. We have the sub dimensions also within that. It also to build this type of schema by splitting one star schema into more star schemas. So see, because this is so, this is called the fact constellation. It is easy to implement, that is their claim, and there are multiple tables, so performance reduced. So because it looks like too more complex as compared to those. So the multiple tables are there, and there are also sub-dimensions are there. So we say that it might be performance in terms of the query that may be reduced. So keep on eye this is basically the fact table. There's a time key, this the branch key, so and so. This we have already studied with that. And these are its dimension tables. And within this dimension, there is another fact table, that is shipping fact table. Here is the fact table is the sale fact table. This was the shipping. We have two fact tables. And within these two fact tables, this is the time key, and this is shared with time dimension. Yeah. And similarly, this time dimension also shared with the fact table. So in this fact, these dimensional tables are basically shared with the fact tables. And furthermore, we have said this is a shipper key, and there is this again we have this fact table, this and this one. So in this manner, this looks a bit more complicated as compared to the other we have studied. And here we have seen this within the, we have a relation between the dimensional table through the fact tables. That is not within the earlier design schema that we have discussed. Hello.
जी सर।
हाँ बेटे, कुछ समझ भी आ रही है या बिल्कुल नहीं आ रही?
नहीं सर, मैं थोड़ी बहुत आ रही है, बाकी रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर मिलता है तो हम उसको
मैं
दोबारा
रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर आई एम सेंडिंग यू बेटे वो. So this is just you have to remember that in order to design a data warehouse, you have different schemas, and we have to prefer which schema you likely to use, keeping in view our problems that we likely to sort out in terms of we preparing or developing some sort of data warehouse in order to address our queries and so and so. So it depends upon if you are preferred to construct or build a model that is basically your dimensional model, that you have to develop that for either you are proposing a data mart or you are proposing a data warehouse. So you have to consider one of the schemas for that. So these are the more important things when you have to design that. So within these, what the steps have been carried out if you have to develop a data warehouse design. In the very beginning, you have to choose a business process to model. Which business processes you likely to model? For example, are you the process for the orders that is different from the invoices, etc., or the shipment or inventory? These basically are different processes within the business, and you have to think which process you likely to choose for the further designing. If the business process is organizational, data warehouse model should be fulfilled, because overall for the organization you are preparing some sort of data warehouse. So in that manner, you say the data warehouse model should be considered if these processes are within a department. and we are focusing the doing analysis about the department, not only the whole organization. Then the data mart is the better approach. Further, we have to choose the business process grain, which is the fundamental up to which atomic values the data should be represented in the fact table. So this also be considered when you are designing your data warehouse. For example, you are looking for the individual transactions or daily transactions, so and so. It depends upon, because you are looking for more details. So in that manner, you say for those business processes, you say up to what extent, up to what drill down aspect you likely to have to collect from there. So the third is choose the dimensions that they will apply to each of the fact table record, which dimensional table you are including. And typically they say there is a time dimension. We say the time dimension is one of the essential aspect of the star schema. We have other dimensions also: customer, supplier, product. Let's suppose if we are working within the business. So the last one is choose the measures. What should be the fact within the fact table? So this will populate each fact table record. Typically, measures are numeric, additive quantities like dollars sold and units sold that we have considered in our examples. And I also discussed with you that those facts should be additive, that be semi-additive or not additive. Those facts may be, but you have to choose those. What should be the facts, yeah, and what should be the dimensional tables, and what should be the keys of the dimensional tables, and which schema that you likely to choose. Whether you are looking for to go for a data warehouse for the whole organization, or basically you are warehousing for the small part of your organization, that is for any department, then you go for the data mart rather than the data warehouse. So this is that I likely to, these are the basic concept basically that I shared with you, that what does mean a data warehouse and why are those are needed nowadays. Your different companies, they are using data mining, and that is only possible when you have a data mart, a data warehouse with you that contains the archive data, and for some time span that you considered at the outset of designing the data warehouse. And there are different techniques are available to load the data to the data warehouse, and for the cleansing and transform the data to be symmetric when you load that data to the data warehouse. Those tools are available, and different databases they may help you for the preparation or development of the data warehouse. So
सर
yes, please. Any question about that? Yeah.
सर ये वीडियो तो आप अपलोड कर देते हैं ना
जी जी
क्लास में, तो ये जोन सी स्लाइड्स आप पढ़ाते हैं
जी बेटे,
वो भी अपलोड कर दिया करें।
ये स्लाइड तो मैं पहले भेजता हूँ आपको। ये स्लाइड आपको मिली हुई है?
ये आपने कर दिया पहले सेंड?
हाँ, स्लाइड्स भी आपको भेज दी हुई हैं और नोट्स भी आपको मैं भेजता था। ये जो है ना, ये जो मैंने जो आपका लेक्चर है, इट इज प्रिपेयर्ड फ्रॉम नॉट फ्रॉम ए सिंगल बुक, ये 2-3 बुक से प्रिपेयर्ड है, तो इसकी मैंने आपको स्लाइड भेज दी है। The further I recorded your lecture, that is with me, but when I was recording that lecture, there many times there was not net available, there was some malfunctioning, then the light gone. So in that manner, it disturbed me. So soon, within 1 hour, I will also send you the both my lecture, that the interactive lecture and the recorded lecture.
Okay, sir.
Any question about that? Just
No,
you have
sir.
to go through it, and whenever we have another session, or when we revise these, the course we have covered, you can discuss the thing. But up to this time, what we discuss about the data warehousing, there's basically basic concepts of data warehousing and how that is designed. But we are not going for how it should be implemented using your language, the database management systems. So up to here we have ended the course, and one of the lecture that I will deliver on the database security. That is the next lecture. I will upload that and will send you the detail of that. So within this week we will cover all the course that I promise with you. So you have to work hard for that. Yeah. Okay.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Anything that you may ask from me, if you have. Now you have some questions. One person say, what sort of paper should be there, and so and so. He was also saying whether I can submit the basically exercises that I give you, assignments, because their codes were blocked. So they may send that, because in that manner they have to learn something. Okay. हाँ, ठीक है बेटे, अगर किसी की रह गई है तो वो भेज दे, उससे ये
ठीक हो गया सर।
ताकि उनका प्रैक्टिस तो हो ना। असल मकसद तो हमारा ये है आपकी प्रैक्टिस बने।
जी सर।
ओके बेटे, थैंक यू सो मच।